Pixar just dropped brand new details and a first look at Toy Story 5, and yes, it sounds like Woody and the gang are heading into uncharted territory. Pixar's chief creative officer Pete Docter gave fans a peek at what's coming next, and according to The Hollywood Reporter, this time the toys aren't going up against an evil neighbor kid or a greedy collector, they're taking on gadgets. In this chapter, Bonnie Anderson is now 8 years old, and her once beloved toys have been pushed aside for her new obsession, a frog-faced tablet called the Lily Pad, and this thing is no harmless gadget. From the first concept art shown, the Lily Pad towers over Buzz, Jessie, and Bullseye like a pixelated tyrant ready to rule the toy box. It's old school toys versus the shiny, always connected world of screens, and it's clear the stakes are personal. Bonnie gets the Lily Pad for school messaging and online games, but the device starts deciding what's best for her, which apparently means phasing out playtime with her toys. Woody, Buzz, and Jessie suddenly find themselves ghosted by a piece of tech. Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, and Joan Cusack are all back to voice their iconic roles, and Ernie Hudson joins the cast as Combat Carl, honoring the late Carl Weathers. Pixar even shared the official logline: Buzz, Woody, Jessie, and the rest of the gang's jobs get exponentially harder when they go head-to-head with this all-new threat to playtime. They're about to face the next generation of iPad kids. Docter also revealed the film's opening scene, starting with a shipment of Buzz Lightyear toys stranded on a desert island scrambling to escape and reconnect with Star Command. Some things never change. One of the newer faces in Pixar's landmark franchise is officially coming back, something fans had been speculating about for months. We already know the core cast will return: Tom Hanks as Woody, Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear, and Joan Cusack as Jessie, alongside other familiar voices. And as previously revealed, Conan O'Brien will be lending his voice to a brand new Toy Story character, though Pixar's keeping that role tightly under wraps. Now we can add another confirmed name to the lineup. Tony Hale is back as Forky. Hale revealed that everyone's favorite confused spork will indeed be part of the sequel. Forky first appeared in Toy Story 4, created by Bonnie from a spork, googly eyes, and pipe cleaners, only to spring to life the moment he was alone with the other toys. His presence was a major catalyst in Toy Story 4's story, prompting moments of self-discovery for both himself and the rest of the cast. It's a smart move to keep Forky in the mix. When we last saw him, he was still living in Bonnie's room alongside most of the main gang. Not only is he a fan favorite, but his arc in Toy Story 4 tapped into something deeply philosophical, raising questions about what makes a toy alive and how sentience actually works in this universe. The movie never dug too deeply into the mechanics of that, but Forky's very existence cracked the door open for some fascinating ideas. That's especially intriguing given what we've heard about Toy Story 5's premise. With the new film reportedly exploring how toys relate to modern digital forms of play, Forky could be a perfect bridge between the old and the new. In Toy Story 4, he embodied the magic of a child's imagination, how something simple and handmade can become a best friend. In Toy Story 5, that idea could contrast beautifully with mass-produced, tech-driven toys or tablet-based games. If Pixar decides to lean into Forky's existential angle, they could easily spin some funny, heartfelt, and even slightly mind-bending moments out of it, maybe even taking a page from the "what is a toy" debates among fans. Of course, it's still Toy Story, so we can expect those deeper themes to be wrapped in humor, warmth, and a few gut-punch emotional beats. And with Hale's comedic timing and warmth, Forky's return could end up being one of the sequel's biggest wins. Toy Story 5 was first confirmed in early 2023, with longtime series veteran Andrew Stanton returning to write and direct. Story details are still mostly under wraps, but the theme is clear. The toys are fighting to stay relevant in a screen-obsessed world. Tim Allen has already teased some juicy bits about the plot, especially involving Jessie. According to him, she's in for a rough ride that forces Buzz to step up in a huge way, pulling the whole crew back together. Allen hinted that Buzz has some big third-act moments, potentially emotional, maybe even surprising. He's already spent 5 hours recording his first voice session, and while it felt strange at first, slipping back into Buzz's space boots came naturally. Most importantly, he says the script is genuinely exciting, and that Pixar wouldn't have brought him and Hanks back unless they had a story truly worth telling. Let's be real, when Toy Story 5 was announced, not everyone was jumping for joy. Toy Story 3 and 4 already gave us some of the most emotional, definitive goodbyes in Pixar history, and a lot of fans felt like the series had already wrapped on the perfect note. For some, this new sequel felt like pushing the franchise one step too far, but Tim Allen's genuine excitement for the script is a promising sign. If Pixar can tap back into that timeless Toy Story magic, friendship, purpose, and now the clash between toys and tech, it has a real shot at capturing the same emotional punch that made us fall for these characters in the first place. And honestly, Allen's hype is contagious. Sure, Woody may have ridden off into the sunset with Bo Peep at the end of Toy Story 4, but come on, there was no way Pixar was leaving him out. According to Screen Rant, Disney shared new details at a private presentation earlier this month about how Woody gets pulled back into the action. Turns out it's Jessie who reaches out to him for help when the lily pad starts causing chaos. How she contacts him is still under wraps, but here's the twist. Woody's return isn't exactly a warm welcome. It's already confirmed that Woody and Buzz will butt heads again, which definitely raises eyebrows. They clash back in the original Toy Story, but by now, most fans assumed those days were over. This time though, it might be personal. Since Woody left with Bo, Jessie has stepped up as the group's leader, and that may not sit well with the former sheriff. It's not hard to imagine Woody feeling a little sidelined. That jealousy angle has fans worried it could paint him in a less flattering light. Now, Woody's always had a fiery streak. He's emotional, sometimes possessive, and he doesn't always handle change gracefully, but his heart's always been in the right place. That's the reason audiences have loved him for nearly 3 decades. The fear is that Toy Story 5 could crank those flaws up too much, turning him into someone bitter instead of the character who's grown so much over the years. We've watched him evolve from the insecure sheriff of the first film to the selfless mentor who went out of his way to help Forky find his place in Toy Story 4. That felt like the perfect ending to his arc. Undoing that growth just to bring him back could risk undermining one of Pixar's most beloved journeys. Toy Story 5 is about to be the first big screen adventure for an entirely new generation of kids. Sure, some of them might have streamed the earlier movies on Disney+, but this will be their moment, their Toy Story, and that's where the stakes get tricky. If Woody comes across as cranky or unlikable, these younger viewers won't have the nostalgia to soften the edges. They won't see the devoted sheriff we've known for decades. They'll just see a grumpy cowboy with a chip on his shoulder. That's a big gamble for a character who's been the emotional backbone of this franchise since day one. Pixar's track record with character arcs is stellar, so hopefully they're playing the long game, giving Woody a story that honors his growth rather than warping his personality just to force him back into the spotlight. But if they miss that balance, it could hit both the movie and the fans right in the heart. The big question is how Pixar plans to reunite Woody and Buzz after that emotional goodbye in Toy Story 4. Woody chose to stay with Bo Peep at the carnival while Buzz and the rest went home with Bonnie. It was a perfect, bittersweet send-off, so what could pull him back? Based on Tim Allen's hints, the answer might be Jessie. If she's the one in serious danger, that could be the spark that drags Woody back into the fold. And if Jessie's playing a major role, it's almost certain Joan Cusack will be returning too. Allen's also teased that Buzz has a bigger role than ever this time, which has fans buzzing with theories. One popular idea floating around Reddit is that Jessie has become Bonnie's favorite toy, stepping up as the group's new leader just as tech chaos starts to hit. But maybe things don't go smoothly. Maybe as the lily pad tablet starts disrupting everything, Jessie and Buzz realize they need their old leader back. That's where Woody comes in. Imagine Bonnie glued to her shiny new tablet while Jessie somehow uses that same tech to track down Woody, maybe even pinpointing the carnival's location. If Woody gets his hands on a device or is pulled into some kind of digital realm, that could open the door for a reunion no one saw coming. And if the toys start navigating the modern world with gadgets, that's a totally fresh twist for the franchise. And let's be honest, having both Tom Hanks and Tim Allen back is already a win for longtime fans. Add Joan Cusack and possibly more returning voices, and the nostalgia factor goes through the roof. Pixar's already proven with Toy Story 4 that they can craft a heartfelt, satisfying sequel even after what felt like the perfect ending in Toy Story 3. There's no reason they can't pull it off again. This time, the story is even more relevant for younger audiences. Kids who've grown up surrounded by tablets, phones, and screens. Director Andrew Stanton has said that technology is a central theme here. In early concept art, Bonnie is completely locked in on her tablet, ignoring her toys entirely. It's a snapshot of the world we live in now. The toys aren't just competing with each other anymore. They're up against the entire digital age. It looks like Toy Story 5 is jumping forward in time to match its modern setting. Toy Story 4 took place around 2007, well before tablets became a household staple. With Bonnie now 8 years old and fully immersed in gadgets, the new film likely moves ahead several years, probably into the mid-2010s, bringing the toys right into our world, where staying relevant is harder than ever. That shift opens the door for some powerful storytelling. And here's a fun possibility. A time jump could pave the way for Andy's return. By now, he'd be out of college and might even have kids of his own. Just imagine Andy as a dad, picking up a Buzz Lightyear for his child. That scenario fits perfectly with the buzz, pun intended, about an army of light years. Early concept art has already teased a whole squad of Buzz Lightyear figures, instantly calling back to Toy Story 2, when Buzz wandered into Al's toy barn and found shelves of Buzzes, still convinced they were real space rangers. Now picture that idea taken to the next level. A special 15th anniversary release with brand new models fresh out of the box, eager to fight evil, and completely unaware they're toys. That could make for a hilarious, nostalgia-packed subplot with a surprising amount of heart. These new Buzzes might end up at Bonnie's house or in Andy's kid's toy box, believing they're on an actual Star Command mission. Throw in our original Buzz and you've got the makings of a funny yet emotional identity crisis as he confronts younger, shinier versions of himself. It's the kind of layered storytelling Pixar thrives on, playful on the surface, but laced with themes about aging, legacy, and self-worth. And if Andy pops up, even in a quick cameo, it could be a massive emotional payoff. The boy who started it all coming full circle, passing a toy down not just once, but twice, first to Bonnie and now to his own child, would be the perfect way to tie the saga together. From what we know so far, Toy Story 5 isn't just shaping up as a toys versus tech story. It's also about growing up, moving on, and rediscovering why these characters meant so much in the first place. Jessie trying to hold the group together, Buzz questioning his place in the world, Woody getting pulled back into the fight. It all feels like it's building towards something personal. And in true Toy Story fashion, you can bet it'll hit us right in the feels. Lately, Pixar has leaned heavily into sequels, and the pressure's on to make this one feel fresh rather than a nostalgia grab. If they can blend the emotional heart of the originals with a smart, relevant take on today's media-saturated childhood, they could strike gold again. But if it ends up as a lecture about kids these days, it risks feeling more out of touch than insightful. Here's hoping they nail it and give Woody, Buzz, and the gang a send-off worthy of their legacy.